Hey everybody, we're here. The Coliseum Joint Powers Authority meeting hasn't started. They're playing Huey Lewis music in the background, so I didn't turn the volume up because that would be a copyright claim for me and Zenny62 Media. So, on the part of YouTube. So, no. The agenda, I'm going to post the agenda in the description field momentarily. I just want to make sure that this is activated. It is not. And trying to get this to respond with the appropriate alacrity. This, I mean, talking about the YouTube software. Hope everybody is well this Friday morning, February 21st, 2025. Year of the future. Year of the future, as I prefer to think of it. Now, Rebecca sat down. Let me see how we're doing with the matter of sound. Turn the sound down. Now the picture's off, which is weird. So we had a working Zoom. Then, as you can see, we don't have a working Zoom. See that? We had a working Zoom, now we don't have a working Zoom. So now I gotta tell you, hey, Zoom's not working. Because it's not. Now we've got someone there. Now we're back. Now the Zoom is working. Okay. Now the Zoom is working. I was about to message Rebecca and say, hey, Zoom's not working. All right. Where's Mr. Beam? There's Mr. Beam, there's Henry, there's County Council. And I do not know who the lady in green is. We are 10 minutes late starting, but all that, I'm going to use that to my advantage. And while we're here, there, raise my hand and thus. Okay.
Is Preston on the line?
Volume is weird. Okay, so what am I going to do here? I am going to get the agenda here.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum.
Recording in progress.
Okay, wonderful, thank you. So we are now broadcasting and recording. All set? Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum Authority Board meeting. I am your Vice Chair, Rebecca Kaplan. Chair Miley is joining us by Zoom and has asked me to chair, and we'll back from the room then on the Zoom, but Chair Miley is also with us and participating in the meeting. Thank you all so much for joining us as we have some important business to conduct to ensure some wonderful upcoming exciting events and activities here in our complex. And we have one more board member in the room joining us in person. And we have two board members with noticed remote attendance and a third also on the Zoom. So thank you to everyone, and of course all the staff who are here in the building and to make these meetings possible. So thank you to everyone for doing this as we prepare to commence our meeting. morning and welcome to all of you. Thank you so much for being here. And with that, we may formally call the meeting to order. Welcome to the meeting of the Oakland Coliseum Coliseum Authority for Friday, February 24th, 2025 at 9:13 a.m. If members of the public would like to speak on items one at a time, when the time to address items on the agenda is announced, it will be prompted to raise your hand. We will note the last name of in the container before we take comments.
It sounds
The host will call
terrible.
the identified raise hand 151 to allow for comment. Please do not raise your hand before the invitation to speak. The host will lower the hand to those who raise their hand before the invitation. All members of the public at the time of the announcement will have the opportunity to comment on items on the agenda. Members of the public will also have the opportunity to comment on items not on the agenda during open forum. I'll move to roll call. Roll call. Commissioner Bean. Here.
Can barely hear them.
Commissioner Albert.
I can't hear you.
Commissioner Executive. Vice Chair Kessler. Here. Chair Mike.
I'm here. I just want you to know the sound is really challenging to hear you folks.
Thank you, mate. Thank
Can you hear us now?
Yes.
A little better, yes.
Yes, much better.
Okay.
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson. Here. Commissioner Bukowski.
Here.
And Vice Chair Kaplan is the chair. Correct. Here. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is open forum. For members of the public wish I'm sorry. At the request of the executive director, we will go first to item 6 in order to make sure that the action items are resolved while we have quorum present. And here we go.
Madam Chairman, my apologies, but now that we have a quorum in the room, if Supervisor Halbert, Commissioner Halbert meets the criteria, finding could be made at this time.
Thank you so much. Commissioner Halbert, if we could promote Commissioner Halbert to a panelist and allow him to speak. Commissioner Halbert asked to be allowed to participate by AB 2449 emergency teleconference. Commissioner Halbert, can you hear us?
Yes, good morning. Thank you. I would humbly request to be able to participate through AB 2449. I am in a room by myself with no other adults, and I'm caring for my brother who is battling with an illness.
Oh, no.
I believe you have to vote on that.
Required. Okay, so and we make and the motion to allow Commissioner Albert to participate remotely due to an emergency, moved by Vice Chair Kaplan, seconded by Commissioner. How do you vote, Commissioner Green?
Approved.
Thank you. Commissioner that we had a huge and vibrant and excited crowd here, as well as an array of events throughout the week, throughout the community, that many people here were involved in pushing for and making happen, as well as doing the press and PR and outreach to encourage people to come to this event. Right here at the Oakland Arena, back the spirit of rural culture. Competitive process with AEG Management, Oakland LLC, on a Thank you so much. This is a very important item for the activities here in the facility.
What is going on here?
To the sound. I hope that it is now okay. Please signal to me if you're
Good.
good.
Oh, wow.
Ordinary circumstances. EG under their contract to solicit competitive bids for purchases. We have been scrambling, quite frankly, to get the stadium ready, both the kitchen facilities as well as production equipment, so that we can meet our obligations for contracts that we have already consummated, starting with the Roots game.
Why is this happening this way? Wow. Sorry, folks. I am, it's a little slow.
To my review and approval on a case-by-case basis. Where we can, we will always solicit more than one bid for whatever work that we require. But time is of the essence. And so with that, I would recommend approval, and we will come back and tell you once we have incurred these expenses, what they were, so that you will have that information.
Unknown caller.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry, folks.
For members of the public, you will have 2 minutes to speak.
Oh, okay.
Colleagues, are there any questions or a motion to approve?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Garcia.
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson. Aye. Thank you. Commissioner Bukasa.
Aye.
Vice Chair Kaplan. Aye. Thank you. And Chair Myler.
Yes.
That is 8 ayes.
Sorry about that,
Wonderful.
folks. I don't know
Thank
what's
you
going
so
on.
much.
It's causing.
Next item, 6B in new business, resolution authorizing the executive director to negotiate and enter into a concession license agreement with SMG Food and Beverage LLC, concession licensee for the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum Stadium for a 1-year term with payments to concession licensee of 5% of gross receipts and exposure of the authority for losses for the first 250,000 and after 500,000 of losses. Thank you so much. And again, this is another time-sensitive item necessary for functioning of planned events, which is why we're speaking to expedite it through this meeting. And let me turn it over to Henry Gardner to present. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. We have reached agreement with SMG Food and Beverage, doing business as Sabre, be the concessionaire for the stadium for a 1-year term. We have included in the agreement flexibility of an extension if that is mutually agreed upon. So the contract is for the period starting March 1st, 2025 and ending February 28th, 2026. And like the previous issue, there is urgency to move with this item. When the A's contract expired December of 2024, the contract with Airmark, who had served as the food and beverage provider, also expired. We solicited 10 qualified firms to make proposals. 3 actually responded. We entered into extensive negotiations with those 3, and the finalist was Sabre. All terms and conditions were
Causes, but
Sabre.
well,
Well,
slow.
we would advance the first $250,000 under this contract to get the F&B up and running, to allow them to hire the appropriate staff to order supplies, etc. And then
So this is really slow.
$750,000. If there are losses after that, well, all things considered, we think this is a reasonable proposal. We think that we have provided in this contract mitigation measures that would in all likelihood limit those losses. We have not included in those estimates revenues that we would receive from routes and any revenues we might receive actually from Quick. And so this is a conservative estimate. We think that when all the numbers are in, there are some risks, undeniable, there are some risks. We think those risks are reasonable. The A's did us no favor in terms of the state of the kitchen, and so that is a huge challenge for us. We need to move as quickly as we can to get the kitchen facility in a state of readiness. And so that is the reason this measure is before you. And like the previous one, we will come back and report to you as we go through the year how we're doing. We are doing as much as we can to mitigate any losses, always.
Thank you so much. And I want to really are as protective as possible. And of course, how much money does or doesn't depend on how many people we attract to the events, how many events we have. To successful. The Roots games start here in the Coliseum on March. People to come, attend, have fun, buy the food and beverages, as well as the work to attract more events to make this a success. Colleagues, are there any questions, comments, or motion on this item? Commissioner Houston.
I have comments, but I don't get it.
OVG was one offhand. I cannot recall the third one, but give me a minute, it'll probably occur to me. There were 10. Actually, 10 did not respond. We solicited 10. Several waived and decided not to propose. And they decided not to propose for a variety of reasons. One being that this is a one-year term. And several of them told us that. Another was that wanted a fixed management fee arrangement.
That's, I've got a slow
Shortly,
internet for some reason.
probably.
How long has SMG had the contract in total?
This will be first time?
They never had a contract?
No. Let me back up just for a sentence. Previously, Aramark has served as the F&B provider for years. And that was a contract with the A's. That was not a contract directly with us. Levy has served as the F&B provider has been in place for a few years as well. But neither Levy nor Aramark, given the short-term nature of this agreement, submitted proposals.
And you said
But
it's
Savar is, while this is their first time as Savar operating in our facility, it is a nationally recognized firm. And they provide F&B services in like facilities of like size throughout the country.
and this is a one-year contract?
It is a one-year contract subject to an extension by mutual agreement.
Okay, last question. I don't get that last piece where it says with payment to concessions licensee 5% groceries. Explain that that last sentence from with to losses. Explain that in detail. I don't get it.
So the question is, what does the 5% payment refer to?
That is their management. The sharing of the net revenues.
It says 250, then it's 500,000. Explain that 250 real quick.
The 250,000 is an initial amount that we would to start hiring this first term contractor, no investment. Subject to the first $250,000. Savar then would be on the hook for the next $250,000. If there are losses after that, the JPA would be subject to those losses, net losses. But again, I have not figured into any of those numbers any losses that would occur as a result of the Roots contract. That's $340,000. And nothing in here for cricket.
I'm saying you said the 340, you mean that the Roots would pay that?
That's right, if there are losses, 20,000 per game.
So Roots would be responsible for that?
Only for $20,000 per game, if there are losses. Yeah, that's right, for a total of 340, if I did the math right. 28 times 17 games, is that right? Yeah, and that's not in any of these numbers.
Okay, is there a motion to approve?
Question.
Yes. I believe there's a question online, Commissioner Halbert?
Thank you. With regard to the 1 year, a possible, hopefully a very likely transaction where the arena and the Coliseum will go to another party, would they be bound by this contract? Are we allowed to do a contract that succeeds us?
Excuse me for interrupting. The answer is no.
Okay.
So 1 year contract.
I'm sorry, would not be bound after the year.
There's no binding here at all.
No, but for the 1 year. Two separate questions.
Let me see if I can.
There's what happens after the year.
Let me see if I can. This contract is for 1 year, March 1st, 2025 to February 28, 2026. It's a 1 year contract. Mm-hmm. We have included in the language by mutual agreement, we could extend the contract. But the only binding in this contract is the JPA is bound from March 1st, 2025 to February 28, 2026. Nobody, including the JPA, is bound after that period.
And to the extent that the question was, what about if title transfers during the year? And so just to understand that we have made a commitment to Root Soccer and potentially other events throughout the year. And if title transfer happens during the year, then those commitments stay in place.
That is correct.
And
That'll
so
get it out.
the Roots games would continue for the year for which the commitments have been made, and the F&B service would continue for the year for which the commitments have been made. I see the attorneys are nodding yes. And because the Roots commitment requires an F&B provider in any case, which has been made for the year,
And any other events we haven't seen.
and other events for the 1 year term.
So Commissioner Hubbard, it is likely that if there were a transfer of title by either the city or the county in the interim and the JPA ceased to function, that this is one of many agreements that would be assigned to the new property owners.
Right.
Okay. Have we had discussions with them, and do they
Thank you.
concur or agree or weigh in on this?
So I'm just at liberty to speak with my county head on regarding our discussions with CWP or OAC in this forum. I can't speak for the city.
I can speak for the city. This is Joanne Donick, Deputy City Attorney for the city. There is a provision in the contract between the city and OAC regarding assignment of certain contracts, and this would probably be one of them.
Okay.
Thank you, and I can
That's the
add,
city.
and of course, they're in the room as well, representative if needed, but the OAC representative did say at our last public board meeting, so this is not a closed session statement, that they would have their acquisition of the property be subject to the commitments that have been made already for this time period, and that includes the Roots games, and thus that includes the contracts that are entered into also in furtherance of that, such as the food and beverage.
Right.
Very good. Thank you. That's very clear now. Thank you.
Okay.
Last question. So has the prior, or the person that's going to be purchasing it, have they reviewed the contracts? Are they able to see this agreement if they pick it up? Because they'll be responsible for it.
You're referring to the F&B provider.
No, the question was, has AESCG seen the contract? The contract is
Yes.
in the published packet, yes.
So SCG.
I'm confused now. Is your question whether or not OAC has seen the contract?
No, Ray Bobbitt.
That is OAC.
Yeah,
Yes.
OAC, yeah.
I do not know. The contract,
That's what.
first of all, is in near final form.
It's-
One of the things I failed to mention, we're asking, subject to your approval, that
Right.
we finalize this contract. All the terms, I'm not renegotiating anything of substance in this document. And Savar knows that. If the attorneys, by mutual agreement with Savar's attorney, decide that maybe a better conjunction than Anna's butt, I'll accept that. But if you approve this, it is still subject to joint council sign off before I execute it. Now, to the question of whether or not OAC has seen it, they have not seen it because I haven't given it to them. I didn't give it to them before I gave it to you. So they have it, they can review it.
Yes, I would just confirm that it is, the current version is in the published packet, so it is a public document at this point. And OAC has agreed to retain the events and commitments that have been made for the year. And I see a head nodding. Okay, thank you. Okay, are there other hands up? Chair Miley.
Yes, yes, thank you. Oh, I want to initially thank Son of Oakland and the President of the Board of Supervisors for asking such probing questions, some of which I was going to ask, but they beat me to the draw. Secondly, I'd like to co-sign what the Vice Chair mentioned in reference to the staff, particularly Mr. Gardner, in negotiating this deal. because I know Mr. Gardner is very frugal and very protective of the resources, the financial resources, and the obligations of which this body would consider entering. So I want to underline that and co-sign that. We do need a concessionaire, so I'm very thankful that we're able to come up with favorable terms for a concessionaire. Is Mr. Gardner at liberty to speak to the amount we will have to pay in bringing the kitchen facilities, the concession area up to par for this concessionaire? Do we have a range? Will we be doing the entire complex? Just what's the thinking there?
Commissioner, this is Andrea Weddle. We will have that conversation in closed session.
Okay, very good. I'm very eager to know that obligation of which we have to take on. So those are all my questions. Once again, thank you, son of Oakland, and Mr. President.
Thank you.
You taught us well. You taught us well, Supervisor.
Thank you. And was that a motion, Supervisor Miley?
I have a question.
Oh, pardon me. Commissioner Bean.
In this contract, Henry, is there anything to make sure that we don't run into the same problem again with the concessions being left in a dismal state that we will expect after the game or watch, look or whatever, so we, concession stand, once we bring them up to par, right, that will stay at that state. If anything in the contract that allows us to make sure that monitoring, who's monitoring, and the liability to make sure that
Okay, sorry, folks. This sort of went dead again.
maintain the facilities in the condition in which we hand it over to them. And we are required to meet all of the fire code requirements, all of the health department requirements, our own requirements in terms of cleanliness and removal of trash and clearing out the grease traps. All of that is in the contract. Unlike our contract with Aramark, that contract was not subject to our review and enforcement, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That was a contract between Aramark and the A's. This is a contract like the Levy contract, which is a contract between SAVAR and the Joint Powers Authority. So we will be laser-like, making sure that the kitchen facilities are maintained in the same state in which we hand it over to them.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I would move approval.
Chair, I have a question.
Oh, Commissioner Bukowski.
Sorry about that. If I recall correctly, when we were talking about a number of occasions that we would have food and beverage concessions, in addition to anything extracurricular concerts, it was Roots and Soul games. And then I saw a few weeks ago that Soul committed to a different facility to play their next season. Does that affect this food and beverage contract, losing potential number of events, i.e. the Soul games?
We already knew it was Roots and not Soul when this negotiation commenced. Also, the team is in negotiation for some other events as well that would join, that would further add to the revenue positivity.
I'm not sure what Roots is doing with respect to Soul. I've not been involved in that meeting.
Right, but it's not here. Well, I believe it's Merritt College.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Before I second it, I'd like to share something. If we do the same thing we did with the All-Star game with Nicole and everyone, and Rebecca and the whole team, I think we're going to do a great job with Roots. So we just got to do the same thing we did, advertise, and bring it back to the town. So I'll second that.
Thank you. I concur. Okay, we may call the roll.
We have to public comment.
Oh, yes. Is there any public comment on this item?
Members of the public wishing to speak on this item, please raise your hand. After your name is called, you will have 2 minutes to speak. And we have Zenny Abraham with his hand raised.
Thank you. 2 minutes.
Hi, everyone.
Mr. Abraham, you've been unmuted. You can speak.
Hi, everyone, and congratulations on the R-Star game. I just want to point out something there points to a concern I stated a year ago regarding a proper interface between what is now called OAC and the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum Joint Powers Authority. Just from the outside looking in, there's still loose ends that need to be tied up regarding what OAC gets and has to manage. And even in the case of this contract, it seems like it's piecemeal. You have to turn to the deputy city attorney. There's nothing that's written down. So I really assert again, there should be a subcommittee of some type that says to the public, hey, look, we've got this matter of transfer handled. We have everything documented. We know how it's supposed to work when Mr. Bobbitt and company take over. Right now, I'm not confident that that's there. Okay. And I think that a better public face needs to be presented. By the way, County President Halbert, my condolences on your brother, and I'll pray for his swift recovery. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just to clarify the specifics of how the handoff with the planned purchase that is being negotiated are being discussed with all of that level of detail between the parties and the attorneys. And so the fact that that's not handled through this meeting is because this body is not the one with the legal authority, but those discussions with that level of detail are in fact transpiring directly through the relevant council and parties. Thank you. Okay, we had a motion by Kaplan, seconded by Houston. Now we may call the roll.
All right. On item 6B, resolution authorizing the executive director to negotiate and enter into a concession license agreement with SMG Food and Beverage LLC for the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum Stadium for a 1-year term with payments to concession licensee of 5% of gross receipts and exposure of the authority for losses for the first $250,000 and after $500,000 of losses. Motion made by Kaplan, seconded by Houston. I'll take the vote. Commissioner Beam, how do you vote?
Approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Halbert?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Houston?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Iglesias?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson? Aye. Thank you. Commissioner Vukasin?
Aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair Kaplan?
Aye.
Thank you. And Chair Miley?
Yes.
All right. Motion passes with 8 ayes.
Thank you. Mr. Garner, do you have anything else you wanted to move out of order, or should we now go through?
Since most of my comments were actually from my report, I'll just quickly highlight.
Okay, so let's call in
two others.
just a sec, let's, 5A.
Okay. Item 5A, Executive Director Report, Mayor Gardner.
Okay.
I just have one sentence in here about the defeasance of the arena bombs. At the last meeting, I commented that we were waiting for payment for bond counsel. That payment has been received, that measure. That issue is no longer relevant. OAC will let us know when they want to restart these efforts. The team is in place to do so. And just one quick comment about soccer field installation. A shout out to both Nicole and her team and to the Roots folks. The installation has been done. It's been signed off by USL, United Soccer League. All signals are ready to go. This has been quite an undertaking requiring enormous cooperation and collaboration amongst all of the parties. And so just a shout out to Nicole and her team and to the Roots folks.
Thank you so much, and thank you for the opportunity to hear the good news. So both the payment has been received for the legal counsel. That was an item that was discussed last time, and that the payment has now been received, but also very importantly that the soccer field installation was successfully completed. That was a major undertaking toward this year's activities with Roots, as well as other activities that are under negotiation to come into the Coliseum Stadium. And so that is wonderful news to hear, both that the installation is complete and that the relevant authorities have signed off on that deal. So thank you. Colleagues, any questions or comments on the report? Any public speakers on the report?
No.
For members of the public wishing to speak on item 5A, please raise your hand.
Okay, we can go to 5B.
All right, item 5B, General Manager Board Report.
And let us give a great round of applause for the amazing success with the NBA All-Star Weekend. Much appreciated and a great opportunity to show what we can pull off here when we work together. You may have.
Absolutely. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'll start off with the event activity. So the added events, AEW, March 1st, 2025. Suniti Chauhan, May 9th, 2025. Dos Primos de Cuidado y su Madrina Tour, May 17th, 2025. 9 Inch Nails, August 6th, 2025. So for my report this month, I'm proud to share the incredible highlights from the NBA All-Star events right here at Oakland Arena. The SF Chronicle said it best. Oakland won the NBA All-Star Weekend. What an absolutely amazing weekend we just had here at Oakland Arena. I'm so proud of our team, our partners, our city, and our county for welcoming the NBA back in such a first-class way. Our ASM Global Oakland team worked tirelessly to make sure the Oakland Complex delivered on the national stage, and it did. Many venue projects took place and debuted at the All-Star events, including a rebranding project of our main concourse with new murals, signage, and nods to the iconic history of Oakland Arena and its storied performances. Here's a quick video to showcase the new brand enhancements on the main concourse.
Oh, I can't see.
Haven't played until you've played Oakland. Oakland Arena, the pride of East Oakland. An iconic landmark, the home of unforgettable and unmatched performances on the court and on the stage. A venue that has seen change and continues to reimagine. Like its city, Oakland Arena is vibrant, resilient, and bold. It's what Oakland stands for. It is a place to come together and a place proud to welcome hundreds of thousands of guests a year to see their favorite concert, sporting event, or bring their family to a show. The arena walls tell stories of historic moments in time and celebrate the iconic musical performances that have taken place here in this storied venue. And we're proud to be here in the center of it all, in Oakland, for the last 50 years and for the next.
I just would make two quick comments. One is that phrase, you haven't played until you play Oakland, is not original. I have shared that with many of you. Some of you do not know that story. It is a historic comment. When the Fox Theater was both a movie palace and a live performing arts center, Oakland's audiences were very tough. And it said during that period back in the 30s that if they did not approve of a performance, they would throw objects at the actors. And there was one production where in the middle of the first act, the entire audience got up and walked out. And one of the performers wrote on the dressing room wall, commenting about how tough Oakland is. He wrote, "You have not played until you play Oakland." That's the story behind that. And then secondly, I'd just like to quickly mention for the HBCU game, Pastor Jackie was there with me, and all that noise that you heard, that was Pastor Jackie and Henry. And Pastor Jackie even demonstrated a few of her moves when she was in college. We had a great time. It was just a spectacular event in every way.
It was amazing. It was amazing. And it's probably not appropriate at this time to comment, but I was there along with 30 of our young people from our church, and it was packed. Everyone had a wonderful time. There were buses with even kids as far as Sacramento, and everyone had an amazing time. I have never been more proud to be a part of this board, as well as to be from deep East Oakland specifically. And Mr. Garner did the best he could during the halftime. We're working with him. But I certainly want to express my appreciation. I'm not always able to come and support as a board member, but I was certainly proud. And so I thank you, and I thank all of your staff and everyone involved. It was a wonderful, wonderful weekend.
Thank you very much. Before I move on to NBA All-Star Weekend, I have to give a big shout out to our marketing team who is here today. Lauren Bailey. Everything you saw in that video, to the murals, to the visions of Oakland, they did that. This was a year in the making, a whole thought process. They got it done. I had the deadline of NBA All-Star Weekend, and they got it done. So major shout out to our marketing team for pulling it off. The NBA All-Star Weekend at Oakland Arena was historic. The arena sparkled. The vibe was indescribable. Iconic NBA stars shared their memories of playing at Oakland Arena as showcased in the many press mentions in nearly every publication and on every medium. We welcomed thousands of guests to Oakland and through our doors, all smiling and excited to celebrate their favorite celebrities, NBA stars, and collegiate teams. We set the record for the most tickets sold to an HBCU classic. To recap, here's another highlight video to celebrate the 3 marquee events hosted here at Oakland Arena.
Okay.
It was amazing. What a weekend. So amazing. On the community front, I also wanted to share that the 2024 Oakland Complex Impact Report has been released. The report highlights the work of the AEG Oakland Community Foundation in our community and our complex sustainability efforts. Printed copies of the report are available in front of you. You can also find the digital report on our website in the community section. And we will also be posting these videos on our website for all to see. Any questions?
Thank you so much. That was spectacular. So in terms of to see these videos, where should we go to see the videos?
We'll go to our website. They'll be in the news section. They're live now on the news section on our website.
Wonderful.
I'd like to make a comment. First of all, Nicole, you guys did an unbelievable job. The energy that we saw or felt when you walked around the arena, the new murals. My 1-year-old granddaughter and I walked the concourse for quite a few times, and she loved stopping at every mural to the vibrant colors. It was great. We need to duplicate that. How do we duplicate it, right? How do we now activate the Coliseum? Is there a way to do it now that we have the grass, and what can we do?
Sports Commission.
Or Ray's group, how do we think a year now, because next year Super Bowl is here in the Bay Area, how can we activate Oakland and our arena next year? We have to start thinking now to try to figure that out, because what we saw was not only great for this complex, which we know, but for the entire city of Oakland was in the paper and nothing but positive. From the Henry J. Kaiser to, down at McClimate's, to the different things Steph did. And obviously this was the exclamation point here, the days that we were here. So I want to applaud you, but I also want to, let's don't sit on our laurels. Let's keep thinking about how do we activate what we have here, because it is a jewel. And I just want to say thank you for all your team has done.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And, we had a discussion at this board meeting 2 months ago about the NBA All-Star Game is coming, let's get active. And several of us on this board went out and wrote press releases, did social media posts, did interviews, did outreach. I directly emailed the Tuskegee and Morehouse Alumni Associations to make sure they had the information, asked them to share it. Commissioner Houston did a bunch of media interviews to promote it. Commissioner Beam helped organize some related events and rallies to it. Our staff did an amazing job with pulling together the facility, the welcomingness, the art, the promotion. And now on March 22nd, we have the start of Root Soccer in the Coliseum, and we should do no less for that. Let's promote it. Let's make sure we sell as many tickets as possible. Let's make sure everybody knows to come back here. And I think the question was also, to make sure that the Coliseum itself is spruced up to welcome people in a positive way as well. So thank you for that. Commissioner Houston.
Yes, I'd like to say thank you, Nicole. I really appreciate you. She always answers the phone. She said, "Ken, I'm on it. We're gonna get it done." Thank you, Rebecca, and the whole team. And I wanna compliment what the coach just said was like, we have the Super Bowl 2/8/26. And I spoke to Mr. Bobbitt about it. We want to get ahead of that. We want to get ahead of that. We want to get ahead of the soccer, the World Cup in 6/12/26. We want to get ahead of it. We want to get ahead of it and do it the same way. We want to get ahead of the one in 28, 7/14/28, Oakland with the Olympics. Right? We want to get ahead of this and start advertising now, get the people that are encouraged and seeing how good this could be. And what did you say? How'd you say it, Mr. Gardner? You don't like me calling you Mr. Gardner. How do you say it, Henry? You said we have not played until we played Oakland. Let's show them. Let's show them and let's do this. Let's do this on these other events and get ahead of it. But thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful. And I also really want to uplift what Pastor Jackie said about bringing the whole group of young people from the church, that part of what makes a vibrant and successful event is not only individuals coming, but groups coming and coming together and having that sense of unity. And the Roots has posted now on their website group package purchases where people can come for the soccer game and get a section or even a dugout to bring your whole crew or your party or your church or your business or your neighborhood association. And so by promoting more groups to come together, to come here, I think that will also strengthen the vibrancy of our upcoming events. Are there any other hands up in the Zoom?
Commissioner.
Chair Kaplan?
Yes.
Mr. Hubbard?
Oh,
Go ahead, Supervisor Miley. Your chair.
well, thank you, Commissioner Halbert and President Halbert. Yeah, a few things. First of all, I would just like to say what Mr. Gardner said is right on, because we often have kind of used the phrase in another way. If you can play Oakland, you can play anywhere. If you can play Oakland, you can play anywhere. That's the first thing. Second thing is, some of us were around when the Warriors left to go to San Francisco. And to me, being here and being on the city council and being a county supervisor, it was, for me, a divorce. It was a divorce that, quite frankly, I still haven't gotten over. But they often say, the best revenge is a life well lived. And I just want to thank Nicole and her team for giving us all of what they did here at the arena during NBA All-Star Weekend. Once again, we showed the Warriors, and it's mainly ownership, because it's the ownership who moved the team, how and why staying in Oakland would have been to their benefit. So I'm just really, really very, very thankful that we pulled off such a spectacular weekend. There were no issues as far as I know, no problems, no concerns. I also want to give a shout out to interim mayor Kevin Jenkins and his chief of staff who's on the council, Patricia Brooks, because I know Kevin was out organizing cleanups. I know Son of Oakland was working with them. You know, Kenny. I know Patricia. She had a committee, an organizing committee, was working with the Warriors. My staff served on that committee for the events, both sides of the bay. So I want to do a shout out for interim mayor Kevin Jenkins and his chief of staff on the city council, Patricia Brooks, for the work they did as well. So it was a colossal undertaking. But once again, I just want to say it was for me a divorce. And you really showed that the best revenge is a life well lived. And the Oakland Arena is well lived, thriving. And we've shown how, even with the Warriors leaving, we make more money than we were making when they were here. And once again, we pulled off a fantastic event. Now, that's my comments. The next thing I want to ask is, I know Commissioner Gosson and also Coach and also John and also Commissioner Thompson and maybe a few others were around and mentioned Day on the Green. I really would like for us to see if we could pull off a Day on the Green this summer, now that we have control of the Coliseum completely, just for old time's sake. I saw a picture of Day on the Green. I mean, I think I experienced one, but I saw a picture because I wasn't here when they were all taking place. I'm still back east. But if we could just pull off one for old time's sake, you know, do one for the Kipper. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful comments, and that's a fabulous idea. Yes, we absolutely should work to bring more events, including Day on the Green. Thank you for that. Commissioner Halbert.
Well, I want to echo all of the comments. I when the time is right, I'll make a motion that we provide therapy to Commissioner Miley. He may need it, but divorce therapy. Hey, all the comments were, I just echo each and every one of them. I want to just look forward, though, and to the comments about getting ahead. We always have to keep in mind, we have an historic event before us. That's the sale of the two pieces assembled into one ownership with some great, talented people that have proven successful in promoting, bringing acts, bringing people to, we have so many better days ahead of us. We have to get through the defeasement, through the actual sale and assemblage, through to, but this will put the property in the hands of others who are very experienced. As we think about how we get ahead of that, I would say to the members from the city of Oakland to have a committee that will work closely with AASCG, OAC. They're going to be taking the next chapter of this property to the next level. And so let's be mindful of that. We won't be here necessarily. The JPA at some point will dissolve. Until we do, Day on the Green, bring it all. And don't just sing it, let's bring it. But be mindful of better days yet to come, and let's plan ahead for those in that way. Again, we'll have to work closely with the new owners who are very capable, and we're going to get there. Thank you again for all you've done today and recognizing what we had this last weekend. Better days yet to come.
If I could just add on to something Commissioner Howard said. I mean, you know, if we could, with the transition, the facility going into new hands, starting a new journey, new chapter, it'd be really great. You know, Saturday Night Live just did 50 years. I mean, let's do something spectacular out here at the complex. I mean, let's do something. I mean, Day on the Green, the arena, I mean, spotlight the whole complex in terms of what this facility has meant to Oakland and the East Bay, for that matter, for the last half or more century. So yeah, so I put that charge in the hands of not just Henry, but Nicole. Get working on it, please. Mm-hmm. And whatever we can do to help you, we stand ready, willing, and able.
Oakland is the East Bay.
Thank you. Absolutely. So, Oakland is proud to be the hub and the county seat, and of course, we appreciate our county partners throughout the entirety of Alameda County, recognizing the intertwinedness of our economy and our society here. Thank you so much. And so we have some suggestions to work on Day on the Green. We know there's other events for this Coliseum Stadium that staff is already working on that hopefully will be ready to announce by our next meeting. That will add to the events and the vibrancy. And particularly, let's take a note of this suggestion for a handover celebration. And of course, in the coming weeks, the county, God willing, will be completing the county's process on the assignment, and the city has already approved the handover, and then the facility, as the county supervisors point out, would be in one set of hands rather than multiple hands, with a lot of experience and dedication to that future. So thank you so much, and let us give the amazing crew and everyone who made these past weekends such a success one more round of applause as we complete this item. Thank you so much. Are there public comments on this item?
For members of the public wishing to speak on this item, please raise your hand. After your name is called, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. There's one participant with his hand raised. Zinni Abraham.
2 minutes.
You're allowed to speak. You have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Again, congratulations, Nicole and staff. One thing, Commissioner Beam, regarding your statement about how we marshal this gets back to something I brought up again and again and again. It's called a sports commission. And my proposal is, first of all, that you establish this organization as that sports commission. But with respect to the Super Bowl, I'm the only person who's actually formed the bid for Oakland to host the Super Bowl. And I can tell you that what we did last time the Super Bowl was here in San Francisco was that, first of all, the host committee, which you should have a hand-in-glove relationship with, lays out where they want these events to go. In that instance, for the Super Bowl 50, it was the Fox Theater and the NFL concert gospel series, which is a constant at the Super Bowl. There are other events that can be essentially doled out, and the host committee by now should have done that already or be in the process of doing that. Oakland needs to schedule a monthly meeting with a representative from the host committee all the way to the point where the Super Bowl is here and starting. And so that everybody's on the same page, ducks are in the row. I don't care if it's an in-person or a Zoom meeting. That's paramount. And you have to then communicate that to the public to get them excited about attending these events. And in addition, we have to say, and I have to say this, a sports commission can produce these events and can produce this excitement. That excitement last weekend was the NBA's creation. But, and this gets to Nate, we can do our own events. And Rebecca, remember I was saying that our website doesn't reflect our history? Well, now you have people saying, hey, look, let's reflect our history. And I've been saying this before, and you kind of came back at me as if the current website does it, and it doesn't. We need to pull together and marshal our resources and move forward now that it sounds like everybody's finally getting religion after this, event. Come on, folks. Oakland first. The old Oakland would never have lost the Warriors and would have gotten them back by now. I put out a press release last week saying, hey, look,
Thank you. Your 2 minutes has expired.
Thanks.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Houston.
I'd like to have, before we close out, have Ray Bobbitt come up and say a couple of words about, how you felt about the event and what your mission is, Mr. Bobbitt. Is that okay?
Yes, absolutely. Welcome. Good morning. You can put 2 minutes on the clock. Thank you for
putting on
joining
the
us.
spot. No problem.
Go ahead.
Well, thank you so much for allowing me to speak. First of all, I just wanted to echo the sentiments of our incredible team. We have an incredible executive director, an incredible general manager, and an incredible team. And that's kind of what it's about, the teamwork process. It's just amazing. So we just wanted to, say thank you. And I wanted to echo the sentiments. This weekend was really something that we all felt really positive about. I know our group worked together with the mayor to do cleanups around the entire perimeter of the Coliseum. And I was out there with my jacket on and my stick and picking up trash and just kind of representing the pride that we have for our community. So it was a blessing to be here with that and to just see the events that took place. This is just overwhelming. It's overwhelming. Secondly, per the resolution in which you allowed for the executive director to research the defeasance, we were happy to report that we did pay the outstanding bill. So we were very grateful to do that. In addition to that, part of the resolution that Commissioner Thompson made it very clear that we wanted to make sure that we honored agreements. And so that was part of the piece that got put together. So we just wanted to reaffirm that commitment. And secondly, and finally, we're very, very happy and excited about moving forward. We've been very grateful to be in communication with, County Council Weddle, and just out of respect for her comment with respect to ongoing completion. We won't comment in detail, but certainly very grateful for the Deputy City Attorney to come on and just kind of confirm that that's the spirit and the direction that we're going in. So just again, so grateful for the future, so grateful for what is occurring now, and more importantly for this body and for the people that have committed so much to this complex. Not only is it a great opportunity, but a profound responsibility to make sure that we can move this process forward. So I just wanted to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I believe that concludes item 5. Seeing no other comments for item 5, I do believe we had skipped approval of minutes. So why don't we just jump to that quickly just to get that done?
Okay. Item 4, approval of minutes from January 17, 2025.
Colleagues? So was that a motion or a question? So we're on approval of the minutes?
A motion.
Approve. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on the approval of the minutes. May call the roll.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the second. Who was the second?
I seconded.
Commissioner Howard. Thank you. For item number 4, approval of minutes for January 17th, 2025, moved by Commissioner Houston, seconded by Commissioner Halbert. Commissioner Beam, we didn't take public comment. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see any hands up.
For members of the public wishing to speak on this item 4, approval of minutes, please raise your hand. No hands raised.
Wonderful, thank you.
All right, so I'll move to the roll. On item 4, approval of minutes, Commissioner Bean, how do you vote?
Approve.
Thank you. Commissioner Halbert?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Houston?
Approved.
Thank you. Commissioner Iglesias?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Thompson?
Aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Vukasin?
Aye.
Thank you. Vice Chair Kaplan?
Aye.
Thank you. And Chair Miley?
Yes.
8 ayes, motion passes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I apologize. Did we miss open forum? We missed, so we can go to open forum.
Okay. Item 3, open forum for members of the public wishing to speak on items not on this agenda. Please raise your hand, and after your name is called, you'll have 2 minutes to speak. We have Mr. Abraham with his hand raised.
Thank you so much. 2 minutes.
You've been unmuted. You may speak for 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. At the behest and work of our great Councilmember Rebecca Kaplan and chair at the time of the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum JPA Authority, I was allowed to give a presentation on the organization approved of a restarting of the advisory board for this organization. However, it has not been implemented. And the idea was to have additional valued members of the Oakland business, sports, and public community to input on the, well, doings, for want of a better term, of the Oakland Alameda County Coliseum. But it was also to have all hands on deck. And right now, we don't have that. What we have is we have a clubby mentality, and I'm just being blunt. Too often, the congratulations are great, but it's not, let's reach out and expand and make sure that we have an Oakland sharing the vision style of thinking, which is in 1991, we draw 500 people to the convention center, and we had an all-day event, goals and objectives. Everybody counts in Oakland, not just a few. And I know that criticism is hard because of, the internet and all that, but you gotta work past that and say, we need to do things the old way. We need to bring people together and listen to those who were there before us. There's not that kind of behavior anymore. And it's not serving us well what is in its place. There's nothing wrong with listening to all voices, having everybody involved, considering every idea. That's the Steve Kerr way with respect to the Warriors, right? And winning. And then not just enjoying the win, but thirsting for another win, and another win, and another win, and another win, and another one, and another one, and another one. I am begging you to adopt that desire. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other open forum speakers?
There's no one else with their hand raised at this time.
Thank you so much. So let me turn it over to our team. I believe we have a closed session. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Does council want to make that announcement? Or do we need to read in the title before we adjourn into closed session?
So item 7, closed session, conference with legal counsel, initiation of litigation. Government Code Section 54956.9B2 for one case.
Thank you so much. So this concludes the open session part of this meeting. The board will now adjourn into closed session as read in. Thank you so very much and appreciate everybody's time and attention. Let's go out there and get your tickets and come March 22nd. Root Soccer starts at the Coliseum.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, the meeting is adjourned. Well, it's not really adjourned. What's going to happen is when they go to closed session, and then they're done with closed session. One second. When they go to closed session, what'll happen is that after this closed session, the chair will come out, go to the mic, and say meeting's adjourned, and that's it. So there's no reason to stick around because nothing's going to happen afterward. In all the years going back to 1996, when the JPA first got started, that I've been involved with the JPA, we have only once had a situation where we went into closed session and then came out, and in that case what we did was we took open forum, and the chair at the time, I think that was Bonnie, but she took open forum and put it ahead of closed session. Oh no, what happened? She forgot about it. Yeah, and she was reminded, hey, by the way, we need to do open forum. So everybody had to come back out and then do open forum, and then the meeting was adjourned. That's what happened. So, there's, and my point is that I was making there to close it is that it is too clubby. It's not this desire to reach out and bring others in and hear other voices that have been there like mine, or to take on initiatives and move forward. So, hey, now let me get all that aside and say that the matter of the Super Bowl is the utmost importance, and that needs to be done now. The city should know right now, Oakland should know right now where its events are going to be for the Super Bowl coming up. It should, if it doesn't know now, it should know that within the next 3 months. Okay? It should have some idea. And again, that's where working with the host committee comes into play. And it's clear to me that hasn't been done, because if it were done, you'd know by now. You know? You can market those events. So anyway, I don't have much to say about that and the other matters that I didn't say during the meeting itself. But I will be back with a separate meeting on another related Coliseum issue having to do with the Warriors and the NBA and the NFL and hockey and sports in general and a sports commission. That ends the stream. Live long and prosper. And by the way, folks, at 5 o'clock today Eastern, 2 o'clock on the West Coast, my friend Eva Crawford is my guest. We'll be talking about her business and her great legacy and history and her work today. Thanks.